But it's important that anytime you have a situation like that shooting in Parkland, is that we analyze every part of it.
It's been 3 months since the Parkland school shooting.
Said, okay, you can't do this anymore. We have to police ourselves.
It wasn't the first school shooting, and there have been more than a dozen since.
You're assuming that it's going to be a gun. You're assuming that it's going to happen inside the school.
A tragedy that ended 17 lives and sent schools across the nation reeling into safety mode, asking how can we prevent this from happening to our students?
How do we take care of the kids sitting next to us in class that we know but we really don't know?
In Beaufort County, there were a number of safety measures already in place.
Everything is badged. You have to have a badge that's approved to come through the doors. We have double entry doors. You have to get buzzed from one door into a holding waiting area and then buzzed into the main office for the school. We have fencing up in our playground areas.
But there were also areas that needed improvement.
I know I've been let in
Yes.
just by ringing the doorbell.
We have had to review the proper protocol because you're exactly right. We have situations where if someone rings that first bell, they've let them in. We've reinforced to them since Parkland is they can no longer do that. They have to treat every situation as though they don't know why the person is there, who are you representing, and what is your purpose in the building today.
Currently, the district requires active shooter drills once a year.
Starting next year, we'll require it once every quarter, once every 3 months.
The Beaufort County Sheriff's Office employs school resource officers in all middle and high schools, with community officers making frequent visits to elementary schools. Sheriff P.J. Tanner says the presence of law enforcement is important, but so is an open channel of communication and action.
My analysis on this was based on supposedly the FBI in Florida not looking at a YouTube video that was presented to them, and then the 40 contacts that law enforcement had with this suspect. Of course, my questions go, okay, if we're getting information, what are we doing with it, and are we getting information?
His solution is P3 Tips, a school safety section added to the Crime Stoppers app, where students can submit tips and concerns anonymously.
The information is delivered to us. We have a timeline that we have to look into the information and give feedback.
The app's pulled in 8 tips since it launched in March. Tanner is pushing for the school district to add the app on all student devices next year. In terms of technology, that's something the district is working on all around.
We have multiple radios. That's how we keep in touch. We had dead spots, and we had some dead spots with our cameras. So we're going to upgrade our cameras and our radios to ensure those dead spots don't exist.
Who watches those cameras?
Well, right now, the cameras are set up at the office area. The SRO can view them, the principal can view them, the secretary can view them.
Tanner says one person should be designated to watch from a security central, similar to a jail or courthouse.
Having a security central can allow a well-trained civilian employee or the officer themselves to sit in one area and monitor the entire school and the perimeter of that school from one vantage point and react accordingly based on what they see.
To have someone just sit there and watch a camera all day, I don't know if that would be a wise use of funds. To have someone able to access the cameras if something were to happen, that is where I believe the benefit is.
First responders in the county say cameras and locked doors are great, but there's more to think about.
One of the things that we realized as a fire department was no matter how quickly we got there, no matter how fast we trained, no matter how good we were, there was still a very significant delay from the time the first bullet was shot until an emergency responder was in that school by the very first wounded student you come across.
It was after a South Carolina school shooting in 2016 where a 6-year-old boy died from blood loss that Dan Byrne and his wife created the Jacob Kits, equipping teachers to stop the bleed and save lives.
We got 5 fire departments in Beaufort County looking to put programs in their schools. We have 10 schools that currently have a Jacob Kit in all of their classrooms, and we're looking to expand from that as well.
And at schools like Hilton Head High, students are taking school safety into their own hands.
They call themselves Students for a Better Tomorrow, about how do we start with the simple things here at home and take care of each other so that we don't have an isolated student who feels lonely and resorts to violence or self-harm or harming others to release their emotions.
Amanda Onan says when students take care of each other, they take care of the school. And Superintendent Moss agrees.
Parents, they have entrusted us with their most precious asset, their child. I hope they continue to trust us with their most precious asset, and we will do everything to earn that trust each and every day.
In Beaufort, Stassi Olmos, WSAV News 3.